Hi, Lindy here, and thank you for joining my channel. I've just completed my silver and pink tote bag. In that video, I made tubular cords from a Knitting Nancy. Now, a Knitting Nancy is usually more exciting than the one I have. They have little wooden dolls and you have the pins at the top. I want to show you how I made these tubular cords with the Knitting Nancy. I hope you enjoy. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to start the cord, make the cord, and how to finish off the tube. Let's begin now. This yarn that I'm using is quite stiff, so it's easy to just push it down to the bottom, hold it in your fingers. If it was cotton or wool, you may need to use a darning needle or a crochet hook. So we begin I like to just put it around my finger to start. So we go anti-clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4 to here. Then we just push them down, so that's the pattern we're creating. Let's watch that again. You then go fully around, hold it down with your thumb, and either use a crochet hook to then pull this bottom stitch up and over, or you can use a large darning needle. Now, I do find the needle is easier because the crochet hook, sometimes that hook gets a bit stuck. You then loop it over, pull the top and pull the bottom. Now, what I find is that when you do this loop around, it's best to secure the last stitch over. So that's the last stitch, because now it doesn't have to be held tightly. And then to go to the others. What I find to be easier is wrapping the yarn around one hook at a time. So I take it to the first one and I pull it over. Then I go to the next one, over. Then I go to the next one, over. And once I've done 4, I give it a little tug at the bottom. Now then you can leave it in this position if you want to stop. So I'll meet you when we start seeing a little bit of cord. Here is the pink yarn I also made into cord with the Knitting Nancy for my crocheted pink and silver handbag. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to the side of it because you can see how it's bending towards you. And there we can see how nicely that's forming. So I'm going to keep going. And you can see it's starting to come through. The important part is to keep your tension even and to keep going in the same direction. So if you stop, you need to come back and see that one's coming off the left. You need to go to the left. Otherwise you're going to end up with an irregular looking cord. Once you get your rhythm, you can then just keep going. And of course, when you're doing this, you can sit, listen to a podcast, watch YouTube, because you don't really have to think. So I'll keep going. finish off your cord on the Knitting Nancy, you will need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. So we start by cutting off a piece of the yarn, and then what we're going to do, we're going to put the darning needle into that loop and then thread the darning needle. So then we pull it through, we go into the next one and we pull that through, into the next one, pull it through, and into the final one, pull it through. Now we unloop all 4 stitches into the center of the Knitting Nancy. And pull it all the way through. And now we just pull this all together. And we go back in here. Make a loop, pull it tight. And if you want to secure it really well, you can just thread it down the center of the cord. And trim it off. The next step is to put the tassel on the end of each of these cords. I've added a link on how to make tassels. Let's finish off the silver cord. Hi, Lindy here, and thank you for joining my channel. I hope you enjoyed watching how I made these tubular cords with the Knitting Nancy. Take care and bye.